We were talking about can't miss players, and we were mentioning quite a few guys. Who was the NBA player, or at least college player, and you went, that guy's going to be a star when he goes to the NBA?
I would say David Robinson.
Well, no,
You're talking
somebody
about
who didn't turn out to be a star.
who did not.
Yeah, yeah. Like we threw out a bunch of guys that, like Michael Beasley, O.J. Mayo, Stromile Swift, Harold Miner.
Here's one I thought was a no can, and he bears the same name as mine, and he was in my same draft. Reggie Williams from Georgetown.
Yeah.
You remember Reggie Williams?
Yeah.
Remember as a freshman, he was on those great Georgetown teams with Coach Thompson. I believe won championship with him. He had all the talent, could shoot, played great defense, could handle, had length. And I just thought for sure he was going to be an unbelievable pro. But for whatever reason, it didn't pan out.
Okay, but why is it you can be really good in college and you're playing the same game, but it doesn't translate into the NBA?
Because the NBA is a different type of game. It's a different type of physicality. That's a great question because players that were unbelievable college players, and it is pretty much the same game, but it's played it's a much faster pace. The guys are bigger, stronger, and there's not a lot of room for error. So you almost get left behind if you can't flip the page very quickly. Not to say that Reggie couldn't flip the page very quickly, but sometimes you just get lost in the cracks.
But like Kevin Love, how do you explain that?
But he was a good college player.
But good. But then he averaged like 25 and 13 or 27 and 13, and then he became a three-point shooter. Like, how do you explain that?
Learning to adapt with the times. I throw like Brook Lopez from Milwaukee. When he was at Stanford, him and his brothers, they were good. They were okay. But Brook Lopez transformed his game very much the same way Kevin Love did. His first 6 or 7 years, he shot 53s. His last 7 years, he shot almost 1,000 threes. He transformed his game along with the way the style of the NBA is.
Your reaction, the Joker getting $25,000 fine, not suspended, and nothing happening to the Suns owner.
I'm still kind of shaking my head on that because I believe if that hadn't been the owner of the Phoenix Suns, I don't think this would have been that big of an issue. But because it was an owner, because if the owner is not holding the ball like that and he just immediately gives it to Joker or throws it to the referee, none of this happens. I think the league is kind of overreacting here because if that would have been a normal fan, that fan would have been tossed. So it's kind of
one of the fans got tossed who did place his hand on Joker. So somebody who was right there with the owner of the Suns did get tossed.
And I'm sure it was a friend of the owners. Look, again, I think the league overreacted, and I love the response by the owner of the Phoenix Suns. Look, this should not be talked about. I don't want my name in this. Jokic is a great player, and the focus should be on this fabulous series that we're having right now that's tied 2-2.
All right, let's talk about the Warriors and the Lakers last night. What stood out for good or bad?
I'm still scratching my head on how Golden State lost that ball game. I give all the credit to the Lakers for hanging around. Obviously, the story today is Lonnie Walker and his contributions off the bench. But defensively, the way that Golden State was able, with Steph playing really the point guard position and carving them up on that high screen and roll with AD in it, I'm still wondering how they lost that ball game. To me, and in their championship year last season, Jordan Poole was that third X factor for them.
Yeah.
He's been non-existent in these playoffs. And I don't know what has happened to his game, but they are very top-heavy with Steph and Clay. And when those two guys have to play defense, which the Lakers are making them play defense, because it looks like Steph is having to guard LeBron on every screen and roll, and it's wearing them down. They need a third scorer. And Wiggins has tried to do it, but we expected Jordan Poole to be that guy, and he just hasn't been. So I'm not here to say that this series is over for Golden State. I will give the champs somewhat of a leash, but I will say that they are on life support right now, and it's getting close to the end.
You know, the Lakers played good defense.
Yeah.
And even that play where they knew Draymond was going to drive, they're down 3. LeBron has AD switch out to Clay in the corner, and, you know, Draymond had no place to throw it. So that, to me, great scouting report. Let Draymond go. He's not going to shoot, and he's going to try to kick it out for the 3, and they defended it. And I thought AD a couple of times switching out on Steph Curry, making the degree of difficult even greater by trying to get it over AD. I thought they did it wasn't pretty, but they did a wonderful job in, you know, pulling out that win.
And you're not going to get, you know, and who cares if you win ugly, right? And bottom line is if you win. And at times that length, and you mentioned it on the switching out with AD, Steph's going to make some. He had that 4-point play that was unbelievable on a play just like that. But you're playing percentages. And finally, you know, when you're at this level in the playoffs, it's good to see players and coaches, because let's give Darvin Ham and his staff a lot of credit, because that last play that you're mentioning, you know how many times they've gone over that in scouting reports. And this is when you finally get to figure out who's paying attention in the back during these film sessions, right? Some guys are sleeping. Some guys are on their phone. Now you're figuring out who's paying attention. And the Lakers and everyone was on the same page on that play. Know your personnel. Know the tendencies of who you're playing against. And they played it to a T.
Okay, but how does Lonnie Walker, the fourth quarter, we're calling him, how does that happen? That you know, he was a decent player during the regular season. I think got 12 points. But you have this game in this moment against this team.
It's about staying ready. And if you remember, Lonnie Walker was playing a major minutes early on this year. I believe started a few games as well. And he was going to be counted on as part of this young up-and-coming core along with Austin Reeves to help LeBron and AD. Fell out of the rotation. But for all you young players out there who's riding the bench, who's been in and out of the lineups, here's a storybook ending, right? Here's a guy whose number has not been called at all during the playoffs, spot minutes. And you get in the biggest moments and you have the quarter of your career on the biggest moment against the defending champs. I mean, what better way, you know, to when people say play your minutes hard, stay ready, you never know what the coach is thinking. Case in point, Lonnie Walker IV.
Reggie Miller, the Hall of Famer, will be on the call tonight, Game 5 in Boston, the 76ers Celtics, 7:30 Eastern on TNT. We brought this up a little while ago. Al Horford, I think, is a Hall of Famer because I factor in the 2 national titles he won at Miami.
Yeah.
Right? So the Basketball Hall of Fame, or Florida, I should say, the Basketball Hall of Fame, 6-time All-Star. Are you with me on that he will be a Hall of Famer? If we're factoring in college, which they do.
You do. And I'm glad you clarified that, because I want people to understand when you go into the Basketball Hall of Fame, it embodies your whole career, not just your NBA, right? So you're right, 2 championships, 6-time All-Star. It's been to numerous conference finals with Atlanta.
Hall of Famer?
I don't know if the numbers are there to support it. He's certainly not a first or second, maybe even third time.
No.
But I think eventually, yes, you can make a case for those numbers. What's his total points right now? Is he getting close to 20,000? Because if he's not close to 20,000, I don't know.
I don't think he's going to be close to
Paulie Paulie, what is he in total points right now?
Oh, I always have his point total at the top of my head, Reg. 13,006.
Okay.
No, he's not a Hall of Famer. No. No.
Is Joe Johnson a Hall of Famer?
Oh, good one.
7-time All-Star, 20,000 points.
Ooh, down the road. 4th or 5th time, the Hall comes a knocking. Yes. That's a good one. Very good one.
Nobody hit a 15-foot jumper like Joe Johnson did.
Oh, and you're talking
ISO
about
Joe.
ISO Joe and ice water in his veins. No, in terms of closing out games, Joe Johnson, he doesn't get talked about enough in terms of money in the bank when it matters the most.
Reg,
Joe,
he doesn't get talked about at all. Not at all. Nobody is bringing up Joe, even in Joe Johnson's household. Nobody's bringing up. How about, okay, Blake Griffin?
No.
First half, he was on his way.
Well, he has chapters still being written because if they end up winning a championship with Boston, that counts on your resume.
Yeah, but he's averaging 4 a game, Red. He's averaging 4 a game.
But it counts on you. He won a championship. See? Well, what do you want? You got to win a championship being the man?
Well, wait a minute. The Lakers say they're going to give Patrick Beverley a championship ring if they win a title. Come on, Reg. Blake Griffin's getting 4. It's a participatory trophy for him. He's averaging 4 a game. How about Sean Kemp?
No.
6-time All-Star.
Nope. 1-time finals, been in the finals, 1 time with Seattle.
LaMarcus Aldridge.
Oh, man. Wow. But no.
Okay. All right. Okay. Fair enough. Okay.
No.
Jermaine O'Neal.
Oh, why are you doing this to me? My locker mate. Why are you doing this to me?
I don't know. These are just names off the top of my head.
He's in the same boat to me as like LaMarcus.
Six consecutive All-Star appearances.
And, oh, man, he was almost close to Defensive Player of the Year.
And he carried you for years.
He did.
Defensively.
He did. Just because I'm a homer? Jermaine, because I'm a homer?
Oh,
yes, Jermaine O'Neal.
You don't mean it. You don't mean it.
He's going in.
Amari Stoudemire.
Strong case. But no.
Okay.
No.
Brad Doherty.
Yeah. Brad's not already in?
I don't think so. I
would put it to you like this. If Brad Doherty played in today's game with today's rule, he would be the Joker 10.0. He would so dominate in today's game, Brad Doherty.
Well,
unbelievable skills, footwork, could face you up,
play
with his back to the basket, assists. Like Mark Price. Mark Price would dominate in today's game. Those Cleveland Cavaliers team with Craig Elo and Larry Nance, oh my God, they would be unbelievable in today's game.
Mark Price, long forgotten, but you look back on his career and like you almost have to see the highlights where you go, damn, he was doing some damage. But he was only a 4-time All-Star, but one of the great shooters. Great shooters that we had, and quick off the dribble.
And pick and roll. Think about him in the pick and roll. Those high pick and rolls. Oh, him and Doherty. It was, my Pacers, we did not want to see them.
Jimmy Butler, Hall of Famer?
Yes.
Okay. And he's acting like a Hall of Famer against the Knicks.
Yes. Jimmy Butler will be in the Hall.
How does it, that's the guy. The Knicks know that's the guy, and they still can't stop the guy.
And not only that, especially with Hero being lost for the playoffs, he's the only one. I wouldn't say he's the only one. I mean, Bam is serviceable. Lowry is a shell of himself, but he is the guy. And you know what it's called, Dan? Will. He's just got will. He's got it.
Yeah.
He's got it. And
Okay, is this the ceiling for the Knicks, Reg? Let's be honest. Is this as good as it's going to get for the Knicks? Are they a second-round team?
I think they're one more piece away from being a championship contending team. I love Jalen Brunson. I don't think Julius Randle is as healthy as he should be at this time of year. RJ Barrett is playing okay for them, but they have nothing in the middle. No shooting guard.
Yeah, but if you're saying you got one guy, you got to get that one guy. Well, who's the one guy? I mean, are you going to get Zion Williamson?
He's got to play 30, 40 games for me. That's not going to do. No, I can't rely. As much as I love Zion, he has to show me he can play. Not 82. Can he play 70 games?
Would you trade for Dame Lillard?
Yes. Now, to me, that could help take the Knicks to that next level. But I'm sure Brooklyn is saying the same thing.
I see him in Brooklyn. I see him in Brooklyn more than I do the Knicks.
If he's on either one of those New York teams, they are title contending teams in the East. With their current roster.
I mean, Dame averaged 32 this year.
But he's a closer.
I know.
He's an absolute closer.
But at what point do you say, I gave you everything, and we're not going anywhere. How about we just divorce? How about you let me go and try to win a championship, and you guys rebuild and try to find the next Dame Lillard?
And the Blazers should do that. He can't come out and say it.
Not publicly, but he can go to management.
Yeah, but things like that still get out. On their own, the Blazers should be doing that. They really should. Hey, thank you for your service. We tried. And we're going to try to get a boatload of picks and maybe some players this year for you. Where would you like to go, by the way? I would ask them too. Give me a list of 5 teams where you think you would like to go, my friend.
What do you expect out of James Harden tonight in this game?
We were just talking about this in our production meeting. And in the 2 wins, he is 33 for 53. In the 2 losses, 5 for 28.
Yeah.
Right? So
the over-under is 21 and a half, Reg.
I'll put it like this. I want to see the Vegas James Harden. I want to – because after he went to Vegas, that game 1, he went crazy. I want to see that type of attacking because when he is at his best, that means Maxey and Tobias Harris are involved. I know what Embiid's going to do. But to me, the gauge of this series for Philadelphia is James Harden. He's got to be Houston James Harden and not Brooklyn James Harden.
Don't be afraid to tonight with Kevin Harlan when Al Horford blocks Joel Embiid's shot again, that you go, you know what, Kevin, we have to start looking at him as maybe a Hall of Famer if you factor in what he did in college, Reg. I mean, as I spoke earlier with my good friend Dan Patrick.
Are you saying he's a Hall of Famer?
He's going to be a Hall of Famer. I think he'll be a Hall of Famer.
Not at 13,000. Well, I'll put it like this. You and I won't be alive.
Yes, I will. Yes, I will. Wait. Who gets in first, Joe Johnson or Al Horford?
Joe Johnson will go in before Al Horford.
Is Tyler Hansbrough a Hall of Famer?
No.
Well, he's the all-time leading scorer and rebounder in ACC history.
College Hall of Fame, yes.
No. Is Derrick Rose a Hall of Famer?
Yes. One-time MVP. All MVP. All MVPs will get in.
He had 3 great years.
Is he, to this day, the youngest MVP ever?
Yeah.
He's going in.
He's
going in.
He had 3 great years. 3 great years.
And one of those years he won was the youngest MVP ever.
Okay.
He's going in.
All right. Fair enough.
All MVPs, they're almost like ushered in.
Every MVP has been in the Hall of Fame. Is that what you're saying?
Every MVP is in the Hall of Fame. Paulie, look it up.
No, probably true. Probably true.
Every MVP is in the Hall of Fame.
All right. So don't be afraid when Horford does something nice tonight, just to say, you know what, Kevin? He might be a Hall of Famer when it's all
I am
said
going
and
to
done.
bring this up on air tonight. When he does something,
Okay.
I expect Horford to do something tonight. I'm going to bring that up to Mr. Harlan and see how he reacts.
He blocked Embiid's jumper a couple of times, Reg.
So that's Hall of
How
Fame
does that?
worthy now?
No, I'm saying, how does that happen? Embiid gets his jumper blocked by Al Horford.
Al Horford's a great defender.
He can't.
You don't think so?
He can't jump.
It's all about timing. You don't have to be a great leaper to have great timing.
Wait,
Block shot.
you just call Al Horford a great defender. Great defenders go to the Hall of Fame. So he's a great defender, 2-time national champ, 6, 7-time All-Star. Al Horford, Mr. Excitement. He's
Okay,
a
it's funny. I'm sure he's going to hear this tonight. He'll get in. It just, you and I will not be around to see that. It won't be the first, second, third. He'll get in eventually. It's one of those type selections.
All right. Well, we'll be listening, waiting for a shout out, of course.
Of course, we're gonna. Well, he's got to do something for him to get the shout out and for me to bring you guys into the telecast.
Al Horford is going to be doing something tonight.
Okay, he better.
He's
He's
gonna
part
be-
of my open. He better be.
Once again, this is how it might sound tonight at the Boston Garden.
Al Horford from the corner, and the Celtics have taken a 19-16 lead. They're on a 5-1 run. Timeout Philly. This is the NBA on TNT.
5-1 run.
Yeah.
5-1 run.
Yeah. Kevin gets excited over little things. Thank you, Reg.
Appreciate you, Theodore and Dan.
Reggie Miller, he'll be on the call tonight with Kevin Harlan at the Garden, 7:30 Eastern on TNT.